last moment. And I think this is actually my first time addressing all of you together with Rosie Lepowski as our new press secretary. So congratulations to her, and I'm sure she will do everything in her power to keep you informed. Listen, I've been back here in the Capitol for the last several hours meeting with members of the legislature, including some of the leaders. The House, again, just moments ago, has passed a budget. This budget they passed is about $1.2 billion less than what I proposed. It demonstrates some real compromise on the House's part. I would note that this was a bipartisan vote that came out of the House of Representatives. I would also note that this is a budget that cuts taxes, doesn't raise them, that protects the rainy day fund, and still manages to make critically important investments in my priorities that I've laid out since day one in funding our schools and safety and economic opportunity. Again, it showed real compromise, and I want to thank the House leaders and those Republicans that joined the House members in voting for it. Senator Costa, the Senate Democratic leader, has indicated that he will put up the necessary votes to pass it. That will allow us to get money to our schools and our rape crisis centers. It'll allow our counties to get the funding that they need. It will allow Pennsylvanians to get what they deserve, which is a balanced budget that cuts taxes and makes important investments. In the face of all of this, what did the Senate Republicans do when the going got tough? They took off, and they went back home, and they bailed, just like they've been doing, unfortunately, all summer. They also acknowledged today that within their own caucus, they don't have enough votes to be able to pass a budget. It has been 246 days since I introduced my budget. The Senate has only managed to come to work 32 times, and they have not passed a budget. They passed they sent last year's product on over to the House, which obviously everyone knows is not serious. We all know they've been playing political games, and we all know their political games haven't worked. We also all know that their political games are unbelievably disrespectful to the people of Pennsylvania. Listen, they elect their senators to come to Harrisburg and basically do one job, to pass a budget. They also elect their senators to be part of a full-time state Senate, to get paid full-time. And then they work 32 days over the last 246. It's time for the Senate to come back to work, be serious about passing a budget. What the House did today represents real compromise. It is ridiculous that the Senate can't get its act together and pass a budget where the spending is less than what's known as TABOR, which used to be the conservative blueprint for spending. This is less money than would be spent under TABOR. This budget cuts taxes. This budget protects the entirety of the rainy day fund. So either they're going to keep playing politics or they don't have their act together. But either way, neither one of those are an excuse to not come to work and to be disrespectful to the people of Pennsylvania. The Senate's got a job to do. They need to come back to work, and they got to do their job. With that, I'll take a few questions.
What the Senator Pittman today talked about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. I'll get to you next.
The way things unfolded in the 100 days, and even prior to this 100-day impasse. He indicated there were meetings involving you, himself, and Matt Bradford at the start, but maybe not enough later on, and the details were lacking. Can you comment on that, the way things have unfolded with the interpersonal meetings?
I introduced the budget 246 days ago. I'm prepared to sign the budget that the House passed. The one job the Pennsylvania Constitution doesn't give me is the ability to vote on a budget. At some point, the Senate has to stop making excuses and show up for work and do their jobs. I spent the entire summer running back and forth between Leader Bradford and Leader Pittman. I've brought them together to have dialogue. I've spent a considerable amount of time with members of the legislature. I've spent time with Leader Costa. I've spent time with Leader Topper. At some point, the legislature actually has to do its job. They got to be here at work and not just run away when the going gets tough. And they got to do a budget that meets the needs of Pennsylvanians responsibly, which is what this package the House just sent over does.
Lawmakers today seem pretty agitated with budget negotiations, highly criticizing either side. I guess with that sort of rhetoric, where do you see budget negotiations going from here? How do you think those sort of attitudes shape negotiations?
You know, I'm in front of you guys, I mean, basically every day. I was in front of some of you in northeastern Pennsylvania earlier today. I am accountable to you. I answer your questions darn near every day, I think, if not several times a week. I get the fact that they don't do that a lot, and today was a day where they chose to engage with the media. I'm glad that you got the chance to ask them questions and hold them accountable. What I'd rather see them all doing is staying in Harrisburg and doing their job in the Capitol and passing a budget that can get through both chambers. Again, Senator Costa said he'll put up the votes necessary to pass what just came out of the House, which is a compromise from what I introduced and came out of the House on a bipartisan basis. If Senator Costa puts up his votes, Leader Pittman just has to put up 3 Republican votes, and then the good people of Pennsylvania can get their funding. It's time to act. Oh, I'm sorry, Dennis. Where is Dennis?
Just your thoughts on the fact that they haven't gotten 26 votes for anything other than a flat-funded budget.
Well, it's not a flat-funded budget. It was last year's. It's not responsible and not reasonable. Look, there are obviously dynamics within the Senate Republican caucus that is making it very difficult for their leaders to find the necessary votes to pass a budget. I mean, their leader today acknowledged that she doesn't have 26 votes. Here's the thing. That's their job. They're in the majority. Their job is to figure out how to put together 26 votes. Leader Costa has extended a hand and said, I'll give you 23. He is prepared to do that. Chairman Hughes, prepared to do that. They know what they need to do. They're being responsible. The Senate Republicans have to figure out their deal.
House Republicans said today that they want us to get out of Reggie, and that's a real problem. Have you noticed that isn't one of the bargaining chips on the table? And how do you feel about getting out of
I'm not going to get into the specifics of negotiations. I appreciate the question you're asking, and you have every right to ask it, but I think as I've maintained, me speaking about the individual conversations I'm having with leaders is not helpful to getting that process done. What is helpful is for the Senate to get its act together, come back to work, and pass a budget.
Time or more.
Governor,
Tom.
sorry,
Go ahead, Tom.
when you look at the fact that you haven't seen skill games, marijuana went nowhere, are you disappointed that with all this talk of a structural deficit and whatever causes they're talking about with trying to reduce spending or taper it off? I mean, at the bottom line, you're not seeing these revenue generators. Are you disappointed with that?
Well, we have $11 billion sitting in surplus here in Pennsylvania, $11 billion. You go look at some of our neighboring states, they began their budget processes with deficits. We have $11 billion. I'm willing to leave the rainy day fund untouched. I'm trying to cut taxes, by the way, more aggressively than them, not raise taxes. And they still can't get their act together and get it done. At some point, Tom, and I obviously mean this respectfully to you, at some point, they need to look in a mirror, and they got to do their job. If they were motivated in the beginning to play political games, we all know that's failed, right? I'm in good shape. You know that. You've reported on that. But if now they're in a position where they just simply can't get the job done, maybe it's time for them to move over and accept Leader Costa's offer of putting 23 votes up, let the Senate put 3 Republican votes up, and let the good people of Pennsylvania, our school districts, our counties, our nonprofits who are working hard, let them get what they need. I got to run, guys. Thanks. Have a good night.